And we're back after a brief break. You're watching South Texas Crossfire with your attorney, Joe Flores. And remember our sponsors, River City Hospice, Hope, Dignity, and Love. That's 882-5900. And Vasquez Flores Home Health, 881-9922. With me, once again, our permanent fixture, our celebrity here, our county commissioner, your commissioner, 24/7, Joe Gonzalez. How are you, Joey Gonzalez, or Commissioner Jag, 24/7?
24/7.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Doing a lot better now that the bank was behind us and the Educations of Freedom, it came to an end, came to a close with very, very successful. Thanks to our sponsors and, thanks to the students and our partners that got involved and made it possible for us to be able to give away 252 scholarships.
Well, I can't thank you enough. You starting the Education is Our Freedom. A lot of people out there don't know it was because of the dedication to the Hector P. Garcia starting that and you pushing that forward. This nonprofit agency or organization had provided how many scholarships this time?
This time it was 52. As of now, we had given it 680 before this one, so
we hit the 700 mark.
700, and I think it's
720 now.
28, something like that.
I wanted to ask you your personal reflection on what these scholarships mean for these young people.
Well, to them it means really an opportunity. It means a second chance at life to be able to succeed and become productive members of society and to become good providers for their families. It means a lot to them. I think it's an opportunity that they probably didn't even know was there for them, and knowing that somebody actually is investing, which I tell them our sponsors are investing some money in them because they provide the scholarships, and somebody's willing to invest some time and money means a lot to them. I think it's a motivational. I think that we had about 350 people at the banquet. Very, very well attended by sponsors and the students and their families. So I think to the students, it's something that they thought that once I get my GED, that's the end of the road. That's the end of the line. I'm not going nowhere. Well, they've learned that it's not, that it's just the beginning of a new road, beginning of a different career.
Mm-hmm.
And some, Joe, unfortunately don't make it. We have those that don't make it. They go one semester and drop out. They go a year and drop out. They go 2 years and get associates and don't go any further, which is okay. But the big thing about this is they got their GED. That's the start. And they'll probably be able to get a better job if they hadn't had a GED. Second is if they get a 1 year of college or 2 years of college, well, they had some college when they go apply for a job. So that's in their favor. So I think, all in all, once, anything that they have as far as education is going to benefit them in the future.
Well, isn't it true also that the Craft Center, and some of this is covering Delmar West education, welders, people to fit the oil and gas industry. So this is not just about people. Not everybody not everybody can go to MIT.
No,
some people want, or some people don't want to, and they want to make good money engineering too.
Well, let me tell you that 98% of our students, they're staying here in this community, and that's our future workforce. And we have to educate our future workforce because there's a lot of companies coming on into Nueces County, and they want an educated workforce. They want students that are educated. And we encourage them not, it's not just about academics, it's about skills labor, skilled workers, welders, pipe fitters, the electricians, your crane operators, your CDC license operators, everything, because the field is wide open right now. We have the major company like Cheniere and the pipeline company, the Chinese pipeline company, Baker Hughes. We got MC Productions, the plastic company that's coming on board. All those people are going to be looking for jobs, and they're going to be looking at people that actually have an education.
And I think, you've worked in the federal system. You know this. It's right now, I think last count's about 28,000 and change to feed a healthy and educate, quote unquote, educate a federal prisoner.
Well, you'd be surprised. Let me tell you now what it is.
Yeah.
When I retired from the federal prison, we did a survey, and back then it was 70. Now it's about 78,000 to house one inmate.
with all costs
with all
included.
costs. You know, 178,000 for one inmate in the Federal Bureau of Prisons. It's about the same thing in the state prison. So in the federal prison, there's about 148,000 inmates.
So do the math.
Do the math. Do we pay for it now or do we pay for it later?
And it's about cheaper. You know, studies have shown over 80-90% don't have their high school
Right.
equivalency, and that's why they're in the pen.
68% of the inmate population do not have a GED or high school diploma.
Uh,
So that goes to show you that if they don't go out there and get a high school diploma or a GED, you know, the chances of them making it are very slim. You know, I mean, what are they going to revert to? You know, drugs, dealing, you know, alcohol, you know, all those other things in prison and jail. And who pays for it? Oh, we all do, the taxpayers. You know, so to put one juvenile in the system, to TYC or the facility, it costs $58,000 for one juvenile. So, and we got hundreds and thousands of juveniles in the system. You know, so, you know, at one point we have to make up our mind that if we invest a little bit of money here, you know, in the long run, we don't have to spend $80,000 for one inmate. You know, and $80,000, you know, Joe, you can go to Harvard University just about, you know, or send 20 students to Del More College, you know. So somewhere we have to just wake up and say, you know, do we spend a little bit here, or do we spend 3 times, 4 times more down the road to put them in the criminal justice system?
oh, we call ourselves the land of the free, but we have more people in prison than China or Russia,
Oh, yeah.
and our sentences are triple those of France, England, and Canada.
Well, our
So-
prisons are full, you know, and we're building, they're building a lot of privatizations and
Big
a lot-
money on that.
Big money, and you know, why? Because there's no room. So most of your privatization institutions are detention centers for mostly immigration and mostly detainees that are going from one station area to another. So and then they're what you call them holdovers. Even the jail, you know, we take federal inmates, you know, so. And we should probably, you know, we probably could take a lot more federal inmates if we had the space. So the criminal justice system continues to grow, and you know, and we continue to, you know, this is where legislation, this is where Congress, where everybody should realize, man, what are we doing, man? We know why we're not giving more money to education. The tuition goes up, and it hurts the students, you know. And so I think we have to look at everything.
Well, you were a judge, and you saw, you know, Joe Benavides has stepped in your shoes now,
Right.
Judge Benavides, and you had the TRAP program and the truancy. That's where it starts.
That's where it starts.
And so these kids, if they hadn't had their GED, a lot of them, and also this test, they were studying for the test,
Right.
and the teachers were teaching to the test. I think you had one very inspirational speaker who said, I couldn't pass the test, but I went and got my GED, and now I'm going to get my bachelor's in business or something. And
Right.
the guy was smart, he just wasn't a test taker.
Right.
So,
And you have all, like I said, most of, and this are some people say, well, GED graduates and the dropouts, you know, that bad kids, or you know, but no, they're not bad kids. They're just, you know, there's a lot of reasons why students drop out of school. A lot of reasons, you know, and you know, but I tell you, most of them when they drop out of school has to be, you know, something that they just that time couldn't take it, couldn't handle it, and they just looking for a second chance or a third chance, you know, and our program gives those students a first or second or third chance to get back into the mainstream of life, you know, to be able to support their families and support themselves and get back to the community.
And I hate to say it, you just took a break, but people want to apply. We got to start all over again.
Well, you know,
if they want to apply for, when's the earliest they can apply?
Well, our applications for us start in the last of February.
So
you know.
February 2014, this one passed.
Yeah.
But if you get your GED and you can start applying in February, there's a possibility that you could get qualified and get all your tuition paid at Del Mar, Texas A&M.
Well, what
Kingsville.
happens is, Joe, the Del Mar A&M University, they're our partners. So we pay the first semester and they match the second semester, which is $1,500 really scholarship. And then the second year they reapply and they get another $700 and they get another $700 matching funds. So it's $1,400 a year instead of $1,500. But those students, most of them qualify for a program. They could either qualify for a Texas grant or a Pell Grant. So in addition to those $1,400, they're being placed in one of those programs, you know, that's going to benefit them. That it's a government program, and they're grants, they're not loans, you know. And we try to encourage the students to stay away from loans because, you know, I mean, by the time you get out of there, you're gonna own, you know, 10 years of loan.
I had somebody call me that was in student debt, 150,000, said, "Know how I can get more financial aid?" And I said, "You're gonna have to pay back what you owe already." I mean,
Yeah.
you know, there's very few. If you're in debt 150,000 in student loans, you better be a doctor or a lawyer and in a very well-paid position to have that many loans.
But-
It's just I think people have been encouraged to spend more and not budget and figure it out.
You know, and I can't really. If somebody's spending that kind of money on loans for education, maybe you need to look at where you need to go to school somewhere else. You know, because like I said, there's some affordable colleges. You know, Kingsville,
Yeah, everybody
A&M
can't go to
Kingsville,
Incarnate Word
A&M
in
Kingsville
San
got
Antonio.
a good program for GED graduates and low and moderate. You know, and most of our sponsors, you know, believe that the economically disadvantaged students, and because they're low moderate income, you know, that they need the help. You know, and all they need is a little extra push. You know, and you know, and those students that gave testimony, I mean, they're all said, you know, that they were given a second chance and they took advantage of the second chance. You know, and all three of them were 4 point. They're all GED graduates, and they all had a 4.0 average.
It's wonderful.
So
There was one 53-year-old lady,
59.
59, and then she went back to school after all those years, and she gave a very inspirational speech that it's never too late. And she was just an inspiration to many.
She's
other
one of our
people.
model students. You know, we use her a lot to go talk to students, and she goes and she gives her time to. You know, what's good about some of the students are giving back to the community.
And what's her
already.
name?
Her name is Leah Patterson.
Leah Patterson,
And
wonderful lady.
She's going to A&M University now. She's trying, you know, she finished Del Mar, so she's going to A&M. We have 8 graduates this year, so that makes it a total of 36 graduates. Since 2010 that we started tracking the students to now, we have 36 students that have completed Del Mar, A&M University, and are gainfully employed somewhere with CCISD, with Baker Hughes, Flint Hills, and all those, you know, and so they've got a good job. So now they're on their own, and some of them are even coming back and saying, "How can I help?" You know, and we had 5 students this year say, you know, "Can I give you $100 every 3 months just to help education is our freedom?"
Fantastic.
You know, and they know that somebody was there for them. So they just want to, you know, they just want to pass the torch. And Dr. Garcia, Dr. Eco, and Dr. Cleo, they know that that was their main thing is we need to do whatever we can to make sure that every child, every student has that opportunity. You know?
Right.
You know, it's not a handout, but it's an investment. You know, that hopefully that in the long run they're gonna come back and help the community also.
Well, we've got about 30 seconds left. Closing arguments?
Well, I want to say I want to thank all our sponsors.
And they'll be scrolling right up there on the
All our
screen.
sponsors, because without that, this program would not succeed, and that's the bottom line. You know, that would not succeed. We can be the hands to do all the work, but without that money, it's not going to happen. So anybody wants to be a sponsor, we have major sponsors. We have endowment sponsors. We have, and we provided a $5,000 endowment to Texas A&M University. Kingsville.
Fantastic.
There at the program, and but you know, you want to sponsor a table, you want to sponsor a scholarship, you want to sponsor, just be one of our major sponsors. Call 945-3551.
That's 945-3551.
Call that, and then I'll be glad to steer in the right direction. And you know, or you want to just donate? I mean, you know, $100, $200, whatever. We'll take anything and everything, because we know, Joe, our program not only does that, but we also provide funds for. We have a special fund that called the GED Testing Scholarship. So people don't have the money to go pay for the testing fee, which is $75, going to go up to $125. We pay for that.
And you also give some scholarships to people, because there was some complaining, and you know, legitimate, I think, some concerns. You also give some to non-GED graduates that did it the traditional way through high school and everything.
We give 10.
You also gave 10 scholarships there.
Every year we select 10 students that are current graduates of that year from high schools, because that's the way we started the program with the seniors, or they were our partners and still our partners, and we decided to do that for them.
Well, that was Judge or Commissioner Joey Gonzalez, phone ringing 24/7. It never stops. But we're glad to have him on, and we're out of time. When we come back, we're going to bring on Love Him, Hate Him, but Never Ignore Him, Homero, the publisher of El Defensor Villarreal.